WWE released their pay-per-view schedule for this upcoming year, and as you can see, they're going to be running day one, their pay-per-view on January 1st from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta. We also have January 29th, the Royal Rumble from the Dome in St. Louis. Also have WrestleMania, which is confirmed now to be two nights live from the AT&T Stadium in Dallas. And then we got some revelations of what's going to happen after that. Sunday, May 8th. We got the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, Rhode Island. We have June 5th, the All-State Arena in Chicago is going to be hosting a pay-per-view. And then, interesting right here, July 2nd, the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, which is the Raiders Stadium, will be hosting Money in the Bank. So Money in the Bank will be a big stadium show. Then after that, SummerSlam is going to be from Nissan Stadium, which is where the Titans play. So that's going to be a stadium show. And then we have the Saturday, September 3rd weekend show that has not been determined yet. We'll talk about what that could be in a second. And finally, November 26th, Survivor Series from the TD Garden in Boston. A lot to think about here, a lot to take in here. Mostly the sheer amount of stadium shows that WWE is going to be running in 2022. I talked about it. They're definitely going to have 2 over the summer, potentially 3. We'll talk about the rumors of that third one in a second. But Trevor, what really stands out to you about the revelations from this pay-per-view schedule that WWE released?
It kind of reminds me of old school WWE, old school wrestling. Anyway, I think I mentioned once before I remember when I was younger, Royal Rumble would come on Saturday, and they would show part of it on NBC, and so it kind of reminds me of that schedule back then, and I think it makes sense. I mean, maybe try something different, see how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. I think moving to Saturdays is something WWE should have done a while ago because
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's tradition or whatever to have Sunday pay-per-views, but really look at what that does. I mean, it's inconvenient for almost everyone involved. Like, it's inconvenient for the fans because we got to stay up late on a Sunday knowing we have to go to work the next day. So if the pay-per-view goes long, a lot of times fans will either, not finish it or be tired the next day, which doesn't really incentivize you to want to watch the pay-per-views after that, right? So there's that. There's the fatigue that goes along with it. Having it on Saturday, you don't have to worry about it. A lot of people, at least in this country, don't work on Sundays. It also helps out the international crowd because instead of having to watch, if you're in Europe or whatever, having to watch, at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Monday morning, basically, you're going to be watching on a Sunday or a Sunday morning, which, you can fix your own time schedule on that. That's better for, I think, everyone involved. It's better for the talent too, because instead of working on the next day after a big pay-per-view, they get a day to rest. The crew gets a day to rest. I just think it works out for everybody. That's probably one of the biggest takeaways for me, having it on Saturday. I think they definitely should do this from now on.
I think it works. I definitely do.
Yeah, absolutely. The other note from this, Trevor, I said it before. We got the Dome for the Royal Rumble in St. Louis. We have right. Allegiant Stadium for Money in the Bank, which I guess is now one of the big 4, big 5 pay-per-views that they're running now. And then we also have SummerSlam at Nissan Stadium, and then the potential for that September 3rd pay-per-view to be another stadium show. That's a possibility of having 5 stadium shows in the year, 3 in the span of 3 months. Trevor, how crazy is that?
That's big. That's really big, especially for wrestling nowadays. I mean, right now they need to do whatever they can to stay within the fight of the ratings and the ticket sales. So it makes sense. 5 big shows and a big outdoor stadium makes sense to me.
Absolutely, and I think that's gonna. We've been waiting kind of for WWE to do more pay-per-view shows in stadiums. We've been waiting for them for this for a long time because it's been talked about how, WWE, they could outsell a lot of big events. They could sell out like stadiums for SummerSlam or stadiums for different pay-per-views. Interestingly enough, Money in the Bank is one of the pay-per-views that they're doing that for, and I think that that's kind of like them putting Money in the Bank in that big four category, because Survivor Series, what it's become, it's got almost no stakes to it. It's all just bragging rights, literally the pay-per-view bragging rights. Which, it is what it is, but Money in the Bank, it's got the stakes, it's got the feel, anything can happen at it, and it's kind of like a mini, like almost a secondary version of the Royal Rumble, comparatively to SummerSlam, which is like the summer WrestleMania event. So I think that's a smart decision on their part, because Money in the Bank honestly is one of their better pay-per-views, and one of their more intriguing pay-per-views that they run every year. So I think that'll bring up interest. I think that it'll help wrestling also get bigger, which is something that, WWE has not really helped do over the past 2 years, or at least the past year. But this is something that I think is actually substantively good for wrestling in general, because it's going to create a buzz. It's going to create, the desire for more stadium shows. And then who knows? Then maybe AEW is forced to do one too.
True. I totally agree. I mean, because like I said, they're higher. They're making the stakes higher because, I mean, they need to do something at this point, right? Like they need the ticket sales aren't selling for certain events. They need to make it something bigger, something more extravagant. So it makes sense to do so. And now it's just gonna be any up for AEW for them to do it. So we'll see.
Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.